The Parable of the Meth Addicts. Once upon a time, there was a quiet and peaceful country inhabited by small farmers. Over many generations, these farmers had worked and saved, and as the economy grew and technology advanced, new kinds of products became available. Lots of families could afford to buy a car. Ordinary people started to buy gadgets like vacuum cleaners and washing machines. And some companies began to sell one particularly popular new product: crystal meth. Big chains like Meth and Meth King started opening stores all over the country. You could get meth in a can, meth by delivery. Pretty soon, everyone in the country was consuming the stuff. Slowly but surely, people's bodies began to change. Their faces wrinkled. They got that sunken, crazy look in their eyes. Everyone saw what was happening, of course. People had grown up in a society where everyone was fit and healthy, and now half the people they saw on the street had blackened, rotting teeth. But because everyone saw how disgusting meth heads were, it was extremely rude to talk about it. Most of the time, they didn't even use the term meth head. They had euphemisms like overuser. Calling a meth head woman was simply not done in polite society. Many of the people smoked so much meth that they hallucinated that there were bugs on their face, and they picked bloody sores in their own faces. You would see these people everywhere. In the office, at the supermarket, on the street, people going around with open sores all over their faces. And even though it was normalized, everyone deep down felt a sense of disgust at the strung-out meth heads with their zombie eyes and disheveled appearance and open sores on their face. And because everyone felt that sense of disgust, it was forbidden to ever express disgust at meth heads. Acknowledging that we feel a sense of disgust when we see these people is an even more extreme social faux pas than calling them meth heads. If a child went up to a meth head in the grocery store, saw her rotting teeth and sunken eyes, and said, "Wow, you are really strung out on meth. Gross." If a child said that, well, the situation is only imaginable if it is a child. If an adult pointed at a person like this in the grocery store and said, "That meth head is gross," that is the most rude thing imaginable. It just doesn't happen. Of course, the child's reaction is the correct one. Look at this person. Really look at them. If you had only ever seen healthy people in your life, you might not even recognize this person as a human. At the very least, you would acknowledge that this person is horrifically deformed. And it wasn't just expressions of visceral disgust. Even frankly telling someone that they were using too much meth was severely frowned upon, unless it was done in private between very close friends. If someone went to a social gathering and said to another person, "You're using too much meth, your face is getting gross, you need to cut back," the middle-aged women at the social gathering would squawk disapprovingly, and they would rush to reassure the meth head that there was nothing wrong with her. And that when the man said that she was using too much meth, that was not appropriate, and rude, and mean. Eventually, some people began a junkie acceptance movement, which argued that junkies should be accepted for who they are, and that we should end the stigma around being a junkie. In this movement, the very idea of beauty was trampled beneath the self-rationalizations of people trying to justify their own ugliness. And most people were not part of the junkie acceptance movement. Most people thought that the junkie acceptance movement was a bit silly. But the junkie acceptance movement was just the extreme form of what everyone else in society was already doing. Everyone was already censoring themselves to avoid hurting the feelings of junkies. When a man saw a stranger with rotten teeth, he would not point out that the stranger had rotten teeth because his wife's friend also had rotten teeth. So if he pointed out someone's rotten teeth in the presence of his wife, it would be like he was indirectly insulting her friend, and that would cause discomfort. And actually his wife was starting to get the beginnings of tooth decay herself, and he probably also used more meth than he really should. So he doesn't talk about people having rotten teeth. That would cause problems at home. Best to just not talk about it. At no point in this process did any man stand up and say, "Look at what is happening to our people. This is disgusting. Society is becoming a place I don't want to live in." Nobody said that because that would be rude. That would be not nice. And the men of the West had been trained from infancy that they weren't allowed to say anything not nice. And so they allowed rampant meth use to continue until the majority of the population looked like disgusting freaks, until their nation became a dystopia of ugly, physically unable, sick people.